Yeah. So is it streaming, but there's just loads? Yeah. Okay. Hello and welcome back to the Atlantic Sim Racing League. You arrive just as qualifying finishes, so we're going to get straight into the business of who's gotten where. There's Sean Perry just completing his final lap with 55 seconds on the clock. He's going to have one more shot, currently sitting in P9. Nate Campbell, surprise, surprise, is top of the timing sheets in GT3. Behind him, though, Mason McDonald in second place. So that's his highest starting position for, well, ever in the Atlantic Sim Racing League. Tyler Richard is behind him. Jacob Durden in fourth, with Brian Smith, our second McLaren runner, joining us this week in fifth. Tristan Richard will go sixth. Nico Grinham down in seventh in the McLaren. Carl Scott, Sean Perry, and Tyler Richard complete the top 10. And then also we've got the expanded GR86 field that we mentioned to you earlier before the technical difficulties hit. They were running round. It is Mike Posma who goes on pole ahead of Adam Benoit for what I think is pretty much the first time this season that Benoit's found somebody who's able to truly challenge him at that level. Brad Warren is third, just behind them with Nicholas Munn, one of the guys joining us this week in fourth. Fifth will go to Tim O'Connor. Sixth, James Barrington. I think it's Callum O'Hare Callum Hare even, is in seventh. And keeping is eighth. Ninth is Graham Garver. With 10th, he switched from GT3 to come and join the Toyota deal this week. It's David McLeod completing the field then. So what looks to be 20 cars at the very least, a much more even split this week. You can see just focusing on James Barrington there to give us a good spread across the full field. We're ready to go racing here in the Atlantic Sim Racing League. Watch for the red lights. There is Nate Campbell on the inside, Mason McDonald on the outside. We wait for the lights as everybody just slowly starts to grid up. Wonder what's going through the minds of Nate Campbell and Mason McDonald. McDonald really considered the underdog if you had to choose an underdog for this start. He's never qualified anywhere near second place before, so a hugely impressive run from him. We saw flashes of speed from him last week at Charlotte, didn't we, Nick?
Sorry, who was that? Who were you talking about?
Mason McDonald.
Mason, yeah, we saw a lot of stuff out of him for the past couple weeks, really. He's been in the eye of the viewer, for sure.
Yeah, quietly working his way up to where he is now in P2. I mean, whether Nate Campbell, the indomitable Nate Campbell is what it seems like, will be beaten, that is another question. I can see that they were quite close to qualifying though, so you never know. Could Mason McDonald snatch a win? It would be quite a story if he did. Still waiting for everyone to go up. I think they have now done so. And of course, it is a standing start here at CCMP. The revs.
Not a standing start, actually. It'll be a formation lap.
Yeah, we are getting a formation lap this week. Okay.
Every week.
Oh, it is every week. Oh, gosh, get into it. That's way not working. 2 a.m. over here, so my brain's kind of tired. Been doing starting the 4th lap all day as well, running back to that special event tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be plenty of you watching along the broadcast and in this race who will also be attempting to win the big one tomorrow on whatever time slot they choose. And then we're running the 4 p.m. time slot, my team, so I have about a good amount of speed. I was offered to start the race, but I figured maybe not, because my starts this week at Spa have been absolutely awful. I haven't really made it past the first corner yet, about 4 attempts. That sort of stuff happens. Sometimes it's been my fault, sometimes it's not been my fault. But as we continue this formation lap then, you can see Nate Campbell quite eager to get going. He's running around there. in the BMW. He's still accustomed to him seeing. He's almost lifting the back of the pace car. In fact, he's phasing through it. Lovely to see. Then there is Mason McDonald to run you through the rest of the field, but we've already done it. But we'll run you through the field again, Nick. Mason McDonald in P2. You've got Tyler Richard up there in P3. Jacob Durden in that wonderful Canada car at Mosport in Canada. What do you think of the today?
Hello to Golden Eagle. I'm so glad you got home just in time.
Oh, Golden Eagle's here. Yes, hello. We do love you on the broadcast here. I remember. It's great to have you here, Golden Eagle.
And of course, we have to do our moment of silence for the brake pedal.
Yes, was it the brake pedal that broke at Charlotte, wasn't it, last week?
I don't think he was racing, but it was broken last week. So, well, we'll take a quick moment in time and pay some tribute to your brake pedal.
Yeah, the rest of the lap we will take a bow silence and then we'll get going with the cars. So, a moment of silence for the brake pedal. Coming out of the final corner, the Rebs are rising, and we're underway here at the Atlanta Racing League round of Mosport, brought to you by Golden Eagle's broken brake pedal. Nate Campbell scores into the lead. Look how they're all streaming through too wide, down towards turn one. They all got through pretty cleanly. Mike Potter, who's retained his lead, a bit of contact there between Carl Scott and Jacob Turner, and Mike Potter held the lead of the GR86 Cup class. There's still kind of single car for the most part. There's Gavin Martin, but Kristen Rich on the inside of Carl Scott McLaren, side by side on the run down towards turn 4. This is the thing you realise about this track here at TCMP. It is relentless with the elevation change and the constant change of direction as the Aston Martin goes up and over the curve. Already, which is not a good sign, considering there's 40 minutes of this to go. So, not a great start then, but Christian Richard even is down to 10th and last in the field. There's Mason McDonald, who's dropped a couple of positions. He's under threat now from Jacob Durden in the Corvette, who's almost having a squeeze on the inside there as they come through to complete the first lap though, Nick. Nate Campbell leads with a couple of seconds of a good margin.
And we kind of expected that out of him. He's always taken off here, but we're happy to see Tyler Richard close behind with Mason McDonald on his tail.
Absolutely, it's still neck and neck between Durden and McDonald there in that fight for third. Nate Campbell storming away to the tune of about 1.5 seconds over that opening lap. If he can keep that form up, we'll be sure to see him return to victory lane. But I think actually Tyler Richard might have had a compromised exit there, because look at Mason McDonald, who's now got a good, really nice run. These three are really having a good battle so far in the early stages of this race. To update you on the standings of the Toyota Cup class is Mike Hoffman still leads Adam Benoit by the tune of 0.2 seconds. In fact, here they are. There's a great fight for third as well between Brad Warren and Nicholas Munn. Side by side into turn 4 as these two continue to hound each other for the class lead. It seems that when we get good numbers in the Toyota Cup class, generally good things happen in terms of the on-track product. Mike Posma still trying to hold off the man, the myth, the legend of Adam Benoit. He's very much the Nate Campbell of the class of the Toyota Cup cars. Meanwhile, this kind of battle pack is starting to close up. That McLaren of what is not Carl Scott, but in fact Brian Smith up into 5th place as side by side. This is David McLeod and Callum Hare fighting for 7th, or Cameron Hare I should say, fighting for 7th on the road. Is Brad Warren now still all over the back of the 3rd place man, Nicholas Munn, trying to get that position back in the Irish flag coloured livery, riding on board with him now. And you can see the rear of Nicholas Munn's car all the way through turn 1. It's absolutely commitment all the way, pretty much through this track. That's how you make up the lap time. And you can see on the mini-map as well there, not only the gap that is being opened up by Nate Campbell, but that is the upshot of that's Tyler Richard. Tyler Richard's gone round somewhere. So we've had a bit of a moment there for Tyler Richard. He's fallen right to the back of the pack. And we'll have to try and figure out what happened there. We don't have live replays here at the moment, but he's fallen right to the back of the field. I don't quite know what happened there. Or is it? No, I think sorry, that timing glitch on the board there. No, in fact, it's not a timing glitch, is it?
No, I don't think so. Tyler Richards still.
I didn't even. Three Richards in it. I didn't even realise that. That's actually Travis Richard, who's running 10th. So, pardon my panic for a moment, because that's not actually Tyler Richards, it's Travis Richard, who's another newcomer here this week. I thought he'd had a moment. They're both running in Porsches in there. So, got confused a bit there. Here's side-by-side action between Nicholas Munn going on the defensive once again. This is now Jacob Durden once again trying to find a way by the Pokemon Parade, the absolute sensation in recent weeks. That has been Mason McDonald contact there between Brian Smith. He's almost pushing Durden through the corner there. Riding on board now with Brian Smith. 61 as well. That's incredible. I didn't know there was 61 Brian Smith on the iracing service. That is the highest number count I've seen from a single name in about 5 years of consuming iracing media and racing myself. So that's quite a statistic there for Brian. He's got a brilliant battle to watch on from his McLaren for the moment, which is that Durden and McDonald trap. And mind you, not only is Tyler Richard not breaking away from this pack, also Nico Grinner, I can just see there, he's starting to close up and make that a bit more of a 4-5-way battle pack. Here's Brad Warren for a moment still chasing down Nicholas Munn, and here's Jacob Durden, no doubt wanting to do his absolute best this week in the Canada Corvette in Canada, on his what is effectively his home track, although really it's all everyone's home track here. We're all Canadians apart from me. I'm the lone Brit at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Some incredible bump drafting here.
He's storming, still trying to get past Nicholas Munn, who was going to go on the defensive once again. You can see up ahead, that is the fight for the lead. Benoit has got past Mike Pottsmer, and he's managed to start to open up a bit of a gap. But I wonder if Mike Pottsmer is going to be drawn back into this battle pack between Munn and Brad Warren at the moment, though. It is still Jacob Durden, and it is still Mason McDonald running P2 and P3 all the way here, Nick. I mean, we wondered how Mason McDonald would fare as they start to approach the traffic now. We wonder how he'd fare. He's still a relative newcomer to this league, and he's never started anywhere near second place in the Liverpool, but he's showing a really, really good turn of speed so far.
You have got it in the chat there, Golden Eagle. That is a Bulbasaur livery, and it's even custom. With,
it is indeed.
With Pokey Mace rather than Pokemon as his Discord name.
You know what? I genuinely didn't notice that until you just mentioned it. I thought it was Pokemon, but I think that's just the car so far. I can't quite read what it says, but Bulbasaur. I think he was. I've never really been a Pokemon person, really, but Bulbasaur was always my favourite of the starters. I've had a bit of exposure to it. So that's a very, very, very lovely livery choice there. And cool that he's tying it into his username. Now, here's Brad Warren once again on the outside. It seems to me that every single lap, Nicholas Munn is doing the same thing, and it is working. He's placing his car exactly where he needs to, and he knows where he needs to because he knows goodness me on the inside. There goes Tristan Tyler Richard, but he's managed to just about get away with that one. I thought there was going to be contact, and there is contact in the background. Oh no, in the edgiest shot there, you can see a couple of the GR86 runners in the wall. I wonder what has happened there. There's a look at it. Oh no, it's Jacob Durden. I don't believe it. The Canada car on home soil is in the home barriers. That is contact that is from Jacob Durden with half an hour to go. I think that probably ruined his race. Oh no, what a horrible moment for him. I think it is Cameron Hare as well. I can't quite tell who that was in the GR86 class, but I think it was Cameron Hare just going off the timing at the moment. Here is the battle between the McLarens, meanwhile. Carl Scott's found his way past Brian Smith in the midst of all of this. They're still fighting between both classes on the same piece of tarmac, and goodness me. Well, I wonder if it was a bit of a contest curse of myself, Nick. Jacob Durden all but out of this race. I think he's continuing round, but a horrible moment for him on home soil.
It truly has. Hopefully we'll see some better stuff out of that livery in real life. But for now, let's see if he can make his way back up the field.
That is the hope. And yeah, that livery contested at Le Mans the last 2 years. This year didn't have such a great run. I think it was a door sensor that knocked them out of the race quite early on in the Le Mans 24 hours. This year in real life, that car has been at Le Mans before, though, with the Roy Fidani, winning IMSA's Bob Aiken Award to get himself there, competing with Lars Kern, Matthew Bell as well. Here's Tristan Keeping, that's the man who was involved in the wreck. It was Tristan Keeping, not Cameron Hare. My apologies for that. Here, though, is Carl Scott now catching up with Brian Smith. I wonder, you can see the gaps are now much, much bigger. There's a couple of other cars that I'd wager have been involved in that. And I think, and not only was it Jacob Durden there, you can see that the Richards and Travis and Tyler, Travis and Tristan, both of whom have been involved in incidents so far, from what I can understand. Here, meanwhile, is a great scrap in the Toyota Cup class. It's Brad Warren and Nicholas Noble we've been used to, because if history repeats itself as Tyler Richards storms by, we're going to have Brad pulling to the outside, Nicholas defending the inside, and there's a battle for the lead emerges here. That is Mike Posma and Adam Benoit going side by side for the lead. Round turn 7, and Posma goes through to take the lead of the class. That is Tristan Richard, who's trying to navigate the GR86 Cup class.
And I'm so glad to see that Mike Posma is up there and battling. The last few races, he's had a couple unfortunate, unforced errors by other drivers that have taken him out of the race. So to see him battling with Adam is a great sight.
Absolutely. There is Jacob Durden. So he has continued, as I was caught with my hair in my eye for a moment there. So that's why I put it a little bit. Here is this battle between the McLarens. It's Carl Scott and Brian Smith again. They seem to be kind of on their own a bit. The gaps have massively opened up. Nate Campbell in all of this, by the way, 10 seconds ahead. So it's almost makes you bet as to how far he will be ahead by the end of this race. It does seem that he wins so comfortably every week, and there's a reason for that. I believe we're having an interview with him scheduled for after the race. So it's still to update you on the order then in the field as we cut to with 28 minutes to go. That's Tim O'Connor, who's just ground to a halt on the track as well. Nicholas Munn seems to have gone wide there, so potentially something's gone on there with those two. Indeed, that has promoted Brad Warren to third by a good margin, although he's got this battle pack of Benoit and Posma at 8 seconds up the road, and now it's going to be Adam Benoit who's going to try and repeat the feat and do what Posma did last lap on the inside of the next corner. I think he's quite going to be able to manage it, but Posma's still going to stay there into the final corner. They're still side by side, and Benoit runs really, really wide, but he's held the place for the moment. So Posma will return to the slipstream, try and get a good launch through turn 1, and that's the thing with this track, Nick, is the slipstream is effective all the time. And so that's how you get these incredible battles here at CTMP. It's a brilliant, brilliant track, isn't it?
It really is. I took it out for a test drive the other day in the Ford Mustang. And I gotta say, that was my first time in the GT3, and it was a whole lot of fun.
It absolutely is. I'm sure it's fun for the drivers here. With 27 minutes to go, there's got plenty more fun to be had. The gaps are definitely opening up, though, but I think it's this battle for the lead between Mike Posma and Adam Benoit. We wondered when Benoit would see some real competition. He hasn't had the greatest stretch of luck of late, but he's had the pace of the class pretty much since he joined this league. And now we're being treated to an absolutely ding-dong battle between himself and Mike Posma for the lead of the class. He's found himself a true adversary, and he's bringing us absolute popcorn level stuff. Here's Carl Scott and on board with him to get an example of what it's like to drive the McLaren GT3, which is the car I'm going to be doing the Spa 24 hours in this weekend. Here is Mike Postma once again. I'd love it if we could get an on board with Postma or Benoit to see what it's like in the Toyota Cup car, because I've never really driven the Cup car that much in my racing. I think a little bit as a poor exit for Brian Smith is going to allow Carl Scott to get right up in the mix. He's going to draw alongside going into the next corner. Who's going to be later on the race? Well, it's going to be Scott who's going to have the inside line. He's drawing alongside as they storm down towards the final section of corners. Brian Smith, launches himself round the outside to defend the position as Benoit now has opened up a tiny bit of a gap on Mike Postma at the moment. 25 minutes remaining. These two are still battling, and we've still got pit stops to come as well. So it's going to be incredibly close to see what does happen as Carl Scott here now up into 6th place. He's chasing down Brian Smith all the while, who was, I think, lost a bit of time potentially through the traffic. They're coming back up to it now. And somebody's gone off really, really wide. In fact, that looks to be possibly Graham Garber. I couldn't quite tell you who that was. Here's Nate Campbell, meanwhile, storming past the lead battle. That is the gap behind. You can just see how much time he has on the next GT3 car, which is Tyler Richards. So here is Tyler Richards. In fact, he's going to be storming past the battle for the lead, navigating through the traffic at the moment. And on the run down towards the next corner. Mason McDonald is still very much there in his sight. So McDonald and Richards still close enough to the point where the switching could come into effect. Here exactly we're focusing on, though, it's Carl Scott still in P6, still chasing down that fight for 5th with Brian Smith. Here is James Barrington and David McLeod, who's looking to get up to 6th place. These two fighting for 7th. The meme is very much the meme battle, really. The 6th versus 7th on the grid. There is Tyler Richards having to figure out his way past the GR86. I think he's going to go to the inside of the next corner. Goodness me. That's what GT3 can do, you know. You've got to be super alert for both classes, because round the outside there goes Mason McDonald. He's absolutely hectic stuff for the battle for the lead. We've navigated past GT3 traffic. Now Alan Benoit's turned his wipers on for a moment there, so maybe the rain was falling hard on in his head, at least it was falling. Oh, nearly gets it all wrong over the curves as well. You have to be so aggressive in this car. It can only feel like hell at times. You've got to navigate your way past that, and then you've also got to be super on it to make sure that you keep yourself having that momentum that can move to the next part of the corner. So it was an absolute challenge. It might not seem like it because of the speed differential between the GT3 cars and these guys, but it was nonetheless an absolute challenge to get the most out of these cars, isn't it, Nick? So, I think the gap between Mason McDonald and Tyler Richards is really, in fact, it has closed up. Look at the way that Mason McDonald is forming before. Here is the lead battle, which will not give itself up between Benoit and
Postma.
And Mike Postma. Indeed, Nick, you're right there. I mean, we may not have the grid sizes we've had in the past, but it's been an absolutely barnstorming race so far, hasn't it?
You know, even on this track, I'm not sure you need much more than 20 drivers to really fill things up here.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, isn't it the saying, 2 cars can still provide a race? We've got 20 cars here, and they are providing a brilliant race. This McLaren side that again refuses to give up. That's the thing I love about this track, is we're not only having battles, we're having battles that are lasting for lap after lap after lap. Round the outside goes Carl Scott. He's almost gone. If he said he has to off, is he going to avoid the barriers? No, contact with Carl Scott. Oh no! So Carl Scott loses some bodywork, loses a thicker wing mirror maybe as well. He's got it all up, trying to get around the outside. And he's right on the outside. He's ended up back to the pits. In fact, he is entering the pits. He was able to crash right as quickly as possible. no, Adam Benoit and Mike Postman, but that could well be the McLaren's day done for Carl Scott. It's a whole learn for him. Just try to send it round the outside as we've seen earlier. And just understand into the barriers. It's such an unfortunate moment for him, but he has been a brilliant performance. I'm just not there, I think.
And it seems Tristan Richard is having a little bit of a tough race here. We just saw him run off the track as well.
Yeah, that's the second time he's gone off to my knowledge. We saw him have a...
Oh.
No, that's another car in the barriers. That is the lovely Williams FWB 90 from 1992 car. There, Cameron Hare gets it all wrong in the barriers. I don't think that's had quite the impact that Carl Scott's accident had. But again, in the barriers is another car today. It's been an attrition-filled race, and out of that, another battle raging now because Mason McDonald is still all over the back, nearly runs onto the grass in his pursuit of Tristan Richard. He is certainly holding no quarter. There is Travis Richard, the third Richard we've got in the race today, just navigating some more Cup Class, GR86 Cup traffic. This is the battle that is now seemingly shaping back up again. Brad Warren and, oh goodness me, Nicholas Munn just runs really wide over the final corner. Managed to keep it on the road, which is good for him because we've seen cars get it all wrong earlier today. So here is Mason McDonald still trying to get that P2 that he was qualified on. Now still trying to hunt that position down. Here is another battle raging, and oh no! Again, that is somewhat things happened to Jacob Durden. He's gone off again. I think he might have just got a bit crossed up on the edge of the corner. Had to slow down to avoid the spin, I presume is what's happened. Here, oh no, goodness me! That's what traffic can do to you. In fact, it's what traffic can benefit you because after nearly almost been taken up by a bit of GR86 Cup Class, we've had Mason McDonald go through to P2, using the traffic to his absolute benefit there to get past Tyler Richards. And I thought for a second he had to take a voice to action to avoid the that car, but once he did, he got the momentum he needed. I think Tyler got held up there. So Mason McDonald back into P2, which is where he wants to be, of course. 10 seconds in the gap to Nate Campbell, who has run another completely metronomic race here at CTMP at Mosport. The question is, what can Mason McDonald do? Can he close up on the man who is currently fighting his way past the GR86 traffic, and now it's a battle between Nicholas Murner and now Brad Warren is the next man he's got to get past. So he's being held up in certain places, no doubt, but he's also doing a fine job here with 18 minutes to go. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He's led every single lap. He's led almost every single meter, basically. He's never given up that lead. He's done a fine job. I mean, it's getting to the point where, because we haven't seen Matthew Jones of late in this league, Nate Campbell, I mean, he is absolutely the standout man in this league, isn't he?
There is no question about that.
All right, speaking of which, there he is going through on this lead battle between Adam Benoit and, of course, Mike Mosport. It's another slipstream fest now for Benoit, who's fallen back to P2. In fact, in the background there, you can actually see the fight for the final podium place in the class between Brad Warren and Nicholas Munn, side by side now for the lead once again. I raised my voice, but it's happening every lap. The same thing. Adam Benoit on the outside line. Mike Mosport holding the inside for all he's worth. And Benoit manages to get the place back, but be surprised if that changes once again. We've seen it change so many times today. So this battle will, I feel, go on to the end of the race, or at least until the pit stops. There is the Mason McDonald. No, it is Nico Grimm in the corner. We haven't said much about him this week in the Gulf War, but he hasn't had the best of races so far. Just hasn't quite had the pace, really. There's Mason McDonald just sailing around the outside of Benoit and of Osler, having consolidated his P2. The gap is 9.6 seconds. So, Nick, I think we found a man who is faster than Nate Campbell.
You think so? But is he more consistent? That's the real question.
That is true. I mean, they're obviously, and when you catch the traffic is going to play a factor in your lap times. That is inevitable. And it could just be that Nate found himself unlucky on a couple of occasions. But equally, I have to watch that gap with great interest to see if it does indeed come down any further as we focus on the P3. This is Nico Gwynham is P3 now, apparently.
Yeah.
In fact, he is. So I think
that's a pass on P10 there.
I think he goes awfully wide there through that corner. I think, Nick, what we're seeing now is the start of the pit stop cycle.
You have got it right there. And you are totally on it with the drafting factor. The entire track is essentially drafting. In those last couple laps there, we saw Adam Benoit start to drop back off Postma's tail, but now he's back up into second place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, goodness me, there's a bit of a wide moment there for Nicholas Munn as he chases down Brad Warren again. But that battle for the lead in this class is honestly sensational stuff. Credit to those two drivers. Munn goes right again. Is he going to hold it that time? Yes, he does. Just about through the corner there. So, yeah, I don't know what's gone on with him. Maybe he's just not happy in that car for the moment. And there goes Richard up the inside of one of the GR86 Cup cars again. The gap is 0.6. So, Benoit, I think, just started to stretch his legs a little bit. Nico Gwynham now down to P6. He's obviously again, I think. Yes, in fact, he has. He's just come in for his pit stop, and just ahead of him is Tyler Richard. Now, this is Jacob Durden. So, Jacob Durden now being called in P4. I don't think he made his pit stop. I think that's why he is where he is. But to get back up to P4 after the incident earlier, the biggest incident of the race, an incident that I thought had a chance of giving him significant damage that could have cost him seconds per lap, because I know what it's like to. Well, I think we all know what it's like to be in a GT3 car in the wall and lose your front. But he's managed to kept hold of it. And Nick, he's performing quite well considering all the circumstances he's had to fight through today.
Truly, they are all holding on to it real well. This track is definitely not an easy one, having to pick the exact line and stick to it.
Absolutely. Here is a man we haven't mentioned every week. We haven't mentioned this week, but we always seem to end up mentioning him because he always finds a way to find himself in the bigger picture. Sean Perry, who's currently sitting in 9th place at the moment. This is Nico Gwynham in P6, so I think it's safe to say both Gwynham and Tyler Richard have made their pit stop ahead of schedule. Sean Perry now chases down on Kyle Scott for 8th place. So I think Kyle Scott also made his pit stop. That's how it would make sense to me, at least. As he's back on the P5, I think it will become P3. I don't know whether Jacob Durden's made his pit stop. I don't think he has. As side by side now goes Gwynham to the outside line. He's going to have a good run as Jacob Durden goes all the way on the grass, trying to get past GR86 traffic as this fierce battle between Benoit and between Postma continues, Nick. I think that's where just the awareness starts to play when you're in a battle under this one. And look at that, Jacob Durden now being brought right back into the clutches of both Nico Gwynham and of Tyler Richard.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of pressure being put on by Nico, just all over the field.
Absolutely. It's a Corvette battle. We've got that Porsche in behind as well in what it would be my livery pick for the race because of the Hot Wheels connection. Used to collecting those back in the day. I was looking actually recently because I realised they'd actually got quite a collection of real life racing cars in their 1/64 scale range. So I might have a look at snagging a few of those. I know they've got Porsche 962s, Lanciers. I think I saw as well the Ford GT40. They've got the Ford J car as well, which is the one that Ken Miles tested and eventually became the GT40 that won Le Mans 1966. There's goodness me, that's a car up in the barriers, Nick.
Who is that? Number 10.
That would be
Garber. Graham Garber in the
it's
wall
Graham Garber,
there.
yes. Graham Garber down in last place by some margin. I think he and Cameron Hare have come to blows at some margin because you can see the gap is 1 minute 14 seconds. Once again, it is time for what feels like every 2 minutes we cut back to these two and they're still battling. It's got to be the race of the century in this class right now, because Benoit, once again, has to control. He might not have to, he's got the inside line in the corner. He'll stay ahead for the moment then of Mike Posma. These two, I mean, I'm running out of superlatives to describe this battle because it's going on for so long that you just sort of have to sit back and watch it all, don't you, Nick?
No, really, it's been almost a 30-minute battle here, so they don't want to give up anything.
Absolutely. Well, this is what you get in this league is the business. I think that Cameron Hare has gone off again. We've continued up in this earlier contact, which is good to see, but he got it all wrong a little bit there, getting onto the grass on the back straight. Now, this is Christopher Richard. Behind him is Mason McDonald. So I think what's happened here is Tristan Richard has not made his pit stop yet, so he's been promoted up to P2 momentarily. Nate Campbell's also, I've noted, has stayed out for the moment with just over 10 minutes to go. As we look back to this battle for what is now P4, Tyler Richard on Nico Grinham, as Ryan Smith's McLaren also is just in the back of your shot. Here is another GR86 battle. It is, in fact, Mike Posma and Adam Benoit once again, as Jacob Durden is coming up to lap these two yet again. On board now with Posma. Now, this is going to be really interesting to see what he chooses to do going into that final section of corners where we see so often these guys going side by side through there. The amount of times they've been side by side through there and they haven't made a single inch of contact between them is incredible stuff that we've been seeing from this class so far. Now, here is Brad Warren, who's lost out to Nicholas Munn somewhere along the line. That is of late. He's going to pull alongside, though. He's going to have a look on the outside line in turn one. Is he going to be able to hold it now? Now he's going to squeeze Nicholas Munn on the inside of the curve, and then Munn will give him return the favour, squeeze him onto the outside, and will hold the place going down into turn 3. It's such a long, winding first couple of corners here, and this is just absolutely relentless stuff we're seeing here today, Nick.
Truly, and this is quite the battle. These guys are up at the front quite often. Nicholas Munn won his last race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then Brad Warren is always up on that podium.
Absolutely. Well, here is Brad Warren. He's trying to figure out a way of getting onto that podium because he's currently sitting fourth with Munn holding that P3 spot. I suggest these two will be going all the way to the flag. I think they've made their pit stop, and they're now pit cycle is continuing on. So it is Brad Warren now on the outside line once again. Nicholas Munn's going to go defensive, and Warren's going to try and do what he can on the inside for the next corner, which is what he will have as another one of the Porsches goes by. So Brad Warren tries to stick around the outside line. We've seen that can go wrong earlier in this race. Switches to the inside for just a moment to see if he can try and a bit of extra speed, a bit of extra momentum, which is what he needs on Nicholas Munn. And that's how he got it. He got a much better final corner than Munn. He will make his defensive move. Brad Warren will stay on the outside line. Will there be a bit of squeezing this time? No, because Warren will try and trade an earlier corner entry for a far better corner exit, which I think he has got. So Brad Warren now to the outside line on Nicholas Munn. Not quite going to be able to make it happen through there. And again, he's trying all these different lines, and it's almost working out for him because he's almost just gotten past Nicholas Munn on the outside there. I think what we're seeing here is, it's just how, yes, it's a track that invites a optimal line, but it's such an open, fast roller coaster track that you can really bend the layout of this circuit to your will, can't you, Nick?
You really can, and we're seeing that lots.
Absolutely. They may be looking like they're following the same pattern, but these guys have all got different driving styles, and that's important to keep in mind. They're all trying different tactics to get past. There goes Travis Richard up the inside of the lead battle. So now it is Mike Posma who's going to take the advantage. He's had the slipstream run up towards that corner now. Brad Warren try to do the same thing. He's got a much better run out of that corner. He's going to be side by side for P3. Not quite going to be able to make it work that time. Possibly held up by the fact that Justin Richard was storming around the outside of the both of them. So it is Nicholas Munn who holds P3 for the moment with P4 Brad Warren trying to figure out exactly how he can get back past into that podium place. He's had another solid run at the final corner. I don't think it's going to be enough this time because of Munn staying on the inside there, as he's absolutely entitled to do so. You've got Ferrari of Mason McDonald running there as well, getting past the both of them with 6 minutes to go. These battles have been going on pretty much the entire race, and they're still not letting up by any stretch of the imagination. As down goes the inside, Brad Warren making a lunge on the inside line. Nicholas Munn has to go forward to the outside. That's also slows Graham Nico Grinham down in his fight against Tyler Richard. There's Brian Hospitan, who also comes with the both of these guys. Nicholas Munn on the inside line. Is he going to make it work with Brad Warren? Not quite. As there on the inside goes Brian Smith. Is there contact? No, I thought there was. Munn goes wide, and it's all kicking off here because Brad Warren's opened about a gap of about a second. There's another GR86 battle now. This guy's lapping just in keeping the lead battle of Adam Benoit and of Mike Poster. These two are going to go all the way to the flag, I'd suggest, because, well, by evidence of the fact they're doing that just now. There's Nicholas, not Nicholas, that is Mason McDonald in the Ferrari, as well as it's so intense right now. I'm losing my voice. What else have we got here? So you've got Adam Benoit chasing down Mike Poster. I mean, we knew that at some point Adam Benoit must hit his match, and what a match he's being given, Nick. It's an absolutely incredible battle in the GR86 podcast.
Truly, I was not expecting this tonight. I was gonna look forward to seeing a whole bunch of battles in the GT3, but you know, look to your GR86s for some action.
I mean, that was it. I remember the race with Stephen when it was like this all the way through as well. When this class gets good entry list, the racing is absolutely astounding. When we're on the inside once again, I mean, I'm just thinking out how I'm meant to call the final lap of these two. We're going to be surely spending the entire lap with them because of how close it is. And how do I make that more dramatic when it's already been between these two? They've been trading positions like it's absolute jam and cheese. I think I've just invented a brand new metaphor, but oh well.
I like it. No problem.
Exactly. I like inventing new metaphors. I mean, Murray Walker was always wanted to do that, and he was regarded probably as the greatest motorsport commentator of all time. So I'm not trying to copy from him, but to emulate his broadcasting style would be something. Round the outside there goes not Adam Benoit. Sorry, that is that's Mike Poster going around the outside of Adam Benoit that time. So these two, we've got 3.5 minutes to go. The lap around here is about 1 minute 40. So I'd suggest there's 2 more laps, and then that will be the absolute Hail Mary final send, whatever you want to call it, of these guys. So it is Adam Benoit in second place. And we've got another car off to the side. I think that is Cameron Hare, Nick, who has gone off somewhere. He's facing the wrong way in the Williams tribute livery either way. Currently running in 9th place. Actually, Graham Garbutt has exited the session, I've just seen. So,
and I think Cameron might be joining him there. Seems to have gone to the pits.
Oh, is he towed?
I believe so.
Golden Eagle also there. We've actually neglected you because we've sort of been so focused on what's happening on Tim. Of course, your support every single week is so deeply valued. To be returning every single week and supporting us in the booth, supporting us on the league by watching the streams. Of course, it's completely free. It's completely brilliant entertainment. I would suggest anybody watching right now, nail down whatever time it is where you are in the world this time next week, because it will be like this, and it will be incredible. It is Carl Scott there, who is now trying to get past Sean Perry. We seem to mention his name every week, and for good reason too. He's always finding somewhere being involved in the bigger picture. Here is the battle then, with 1 lap to go. Oh well, 2 laps to go after this one. It's of course 40 minutes plus 1 lap. It is Adam Benoit now trying to figure out, trying to strategize how on earth is he going to not only pass Mike Foster, but how is he going to make it stick? And that's what both of these guys will be trying to figure out, mentally work out in their heads right now. It's one thing to pass, but you will be repassed. That is the lesson we've learned here, Nick, this week, isn't it? You can pass, but there is no guarantee beyond any stretch of the imagination that you will keep that place for longer than a half a lap. Riding on board now with Adam Benoit, championship leader, I should say, as well. We've calculated something. There are a couple of drop downs in this championship, but that will be one for the season finale, I think, in this ever heightening championship battle in this class. We know in the GT3s it is Nate Campbell, surprise, with a 35-point advantage because Matthew Jones hasn't shown up in the last couple of weeks. If Matthew Jones continues to not show up, it'll be a 35-point advantage. That will grow by the end of the week for Nate Campbell. The second place that is worth mentioning is still Tristan Richard as they head on to the penultimate lap. There's going to be one more lap after this then, with 20 seconds across the line between Benoit and between
Postma.
Sorry. Actually, just to confirm, Nick, it is one lap. It is one lap after the clock runs out, right? Or is this the final lap?
One more lap, and then maybe another one even, just because we're seeing Nate Campbell just having passed the line.
Just ahead of the as the clock ticks down. Once again, Benoit versus Postma. I think this has to go down. I mean, send this to iracing themselves and just show them this battle, because it would be incredible if we could figure out a way of immortalizing this battle on this broadcast and sharing this around, because it really is possibly the best racing I've ever seen in iRacing. The fact these two have been like this for 40 minutes straight, it's the entire stint in these cars, and they've literally been exactly like that for the entire race, and they're going to be there for the entire race, lest something happens in the realm of contact, which I doubt it will, because these two have been, not only have they been fighting for this position so brutally, so elegantly over the course of this race, they have not got a single scratch of paint on their lick. But it is going to be Nate Campbell who will cross the line to win at Mosport. Another win goes his way. Mike Postma will hold on to claim victory here, and Tristan Richard will somehow, after an incredibly dramatic opening lap, claim P2, P3 for Mason McDonald. Then P4 goes the way of Tyler Richard. Ryan Smith to take home 5th place, a brilliantly solid run from him. 5th place in the GR86 Cup class will go the way of Tim O'Connor, a name we haven't really mentioned this week, but he's been a really solid run from him. Sean Perry, P7, that's where he will end up in the Porsche. Behind him, it will be Kyle Scott. So not the best weekend from Kyle, but certainly had a great battle with Brian Smith in the fellow McLaren earlier on. So it was that they crossed the line just after that timer ticked over. So that was the final lap. We realised it in the booth here. It was very close. But that is going to be Jacob Vernon then on home soil. You just wonder what he would have been able to do without the contact. There's James Barrington running the New Zealand livery, and here is Nate Campbell. We're just going to wait for these burnouts that will come. To win as a Canadian on home soil in this league will surely mean the world to him. We'll interview him later after the race, but we're now awaiting burnouts.
And that is our 2 winners in frame there. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Benoit and there. I think they might have gone a lap longer, you know.
I think just for the fun of it.
Well, maybe just for the fun of it as well. I mean, there's nothing saying against that. But here is Nate Campbell, who's, I think, also doing a lap just for the fun of it. Why not? Lap up the do a little Nigel Mansell victory. Of course, his one in 1991 did not go to plan. His semi-automatic gearbox failed at the hairpin on the circuit Gilles Villeneuve that year, handing the win to Nelson Piquet in the Benetton. Their only win of the season, and one of Nelson Piquet's final victories, indeed, in the Formula One World Championship. Here is Nate Cameron. I mean, we may as well just, while he's the man on screen, what do you make of that performance, Nick, from him?
I'm very impressed, as always. He shows us great stuff every single week, and there's really no stopping him.
And here we go. I think he's preparing himself for the burnout. In fact, he's trying to drift it through the corner there, and you can't blame him. You can never blame him. We saw him doing a bit of a Carl Busch and going backwards earlier, and now here come the burnouts. Before we went live, he was talking to us about how he was preparing for them. Well, jokingly, of course, he's a very humble man. But here we go. On to the final straight then. Let's get yourself ready for the burnouts. He's warming his tyres up, gaining the lateral momentum. Nate Campbell, a victory lap for a brilliant victory. The headlights are flashed, and he won't even do the burnouts this week. It will just be the victory lap. But Nate Campbell is your winner of the CTMP round here in the Atlantic Sim Racing League on home soil in that now iconic BMW. Mike Postma takes victory over Adam Benoit. Finally, Adam Benoit has met his match then in the GR86 Cup class. To run you through the rest of the field, Tristan Richard then did get second place. I wonder if he managed to get a pit stop in before the end of that one. Maybe he managed to find a way of going through it. Mason McDonald will finish third. Nico Grillam actually made it up to fourth after the pit stops with Tyler Richard in fifth and Brian Smith sixth. Seventh was Sean Perry, as I mentioned. Carl Scott was eighth. Ninth was Jacob Durdham. And Travis Richard finished 10th in class in the GR86 Cup class. It was, of course, Mike Postma over Adam Benoit by a margin of 0. Well, I don't. It's not giving me the margins anymore now, the timing tower. Brad Warren was third in the end, managing to defend against Nicholas Murn over that last lap. Tim O'Connor, we know he was fifth. David McLeod gained up to sixth place in his first outing in the GR86 Cup class. James Barrington was seventh behind him, with Tristan Keeping in eighth, and Cameron Hare did, in the end, not finish the race. The pit marker board on the title of his broadcast there signifies he remained in the pits towards the end of the race. But, Nick, it is time for that interview we mentioned. Welcome, race winner, Nate Campbell. How does it feel?
Feels pretty good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, great. I mean, another brilliant race from you. I mean, I think what you'll want to do is go back and watch this, because just for the GR86 Cup class, I mean, it's a shame you're not in there, because I think, imagine if you were in there with Benoit and that, we would have had a brilliant race. But as it stands, you are basically the king of GT3 in this league. Just how do you do it is what me and Nick are wondering every week.
Consistency. But no, the GR86 class, the finish looked really good. I stuck behind them for the final lap, and yeah, they were fine right to the last corner.
The privileges of being so quick. You can just watch the lead battle with the best seat in the house. But Nick, what did you make of this whole race? And what have you got any questions for Nate?
You know, I don't have any further questions for him, but consistency, that's a good thing to take out of that and into every other race of this season.
Yeah, maybe this wasn't my most consistent. I had one little moment. I don't know if you guys seen it on the broadcast, but
we didn't catch it. There was so many battles in the GR86.
Yeah,
we kind of stuck with them for the most part.
You'll have to see it in the highlights. It was little sketchy.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh.
We'll put that together and we'll find that for you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next week, Nate. Best of luck.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
You guys too.
And we have one more. We'll see if he's still here. James Barrington. from the GR86 class.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
How you doing?
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Good. I missed all the action at the front of the GR86 field. I was trundling around near the back.
So how was your race experience there?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't get a good start, so I was kind of at the back there for most of the race. It sounds like there was quite a bit of action at the front of the field.
There was, and we saw a lot of off tracks near the back. Were you involved in any of those?
No. I got nudged a couple of times from some of the GT3 cars, but I was really just trying to have a clean race. And I always had a good battle near the end there with Dave McLeod, I think it was. I was closing in on him, and I just ran out of time.
And that is how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Something we
Excited to watch the broadcast back, though.
Yeah, give it. It's a brilliant race, mate. Give it a watch. Something we always wonder, me and Nick, when we watch here in the booth, is just what goes into calculating when you guys need to pit, because of course you guys do need to take pit stops every week, but we always wonder when it comes to choosing exactly when to pit. Is it a gut thing? Is it simply running the fuel tank dry thing, or how do you go about that?
So in the GR86 class, we're not required to pit. The last few weeks I've had to pit for penalties and damage and various other things, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Oh. I guess that makes sense. We didn't see Benoit or the other guys pit anyway. But and when it comes to I think Mosport's always going to be quite a challenging track anyway. But when you're dealing with a car that loves understeer as much as I love Falafel, it can be quite a challenging thing to do, I imagine. But how do you sort of cope with the understeer that this track can induce?
You just got to be really careful how much speed you carry into the corners. I found these cars hard to warm up the tires, and that's why I took it easy at the start, and then I just lost too many places. But you got to make sure you don't enter with too much speed.
Absolutely. I mean, that's it, isn't it? It's that balance of trying just not to overdrive it and then just go off. We saw that happen a few times in the class, but you ran a very consistent, very clean race. So well done on that. Have you got any other words for the broadcast?
Just thanks for putting this together, guys. It's great fun driving in it, and I hope it's fun for people watching at home.
Hey,
it absolutely is.
We're very glad that y'all enjoy. So
yeah,
thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Well, Thomas.
That looks to be... Sorry?
Go ahead.
I'll let you continue.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
I was just going to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I realized we had a few moments of technical difficulties there, but hopefully it was an all right viewing experience. And we'll let Thomas finish her off here.
Yeah, we got a race in the end. And again, Nick, thank you very much for fighting through the tech issues and ensuring we were able to broadcast that, because once we got going, it was a truly brilliant race. And if you have loved what you've seen here, and let's be real, how could you not love what you've seen here this week? It is same time. It is Friday evenings at the Atlantic Sim Racing League. We will be back with more of what you've seen tonight. But for now, from myself, Thomas Groves in the booth, and Nick, the man who is the man behind everything that goes on in this league, and I do mean everything, we'll bid you a farewell from the UK and Canada, wherever you are in the Maritimes or in the world. It's been a pleasure broadcasting this race to you. We'll see you back this time next week, and for now, take care and goodbye.